In this video, we're going to write a C++ program to calculate the area of a rectangle using user input values for the rectangle length and width. So the first thing we'll do is declare variables to store the rectangle, length, width, and area. We'll have here double length is equal to 0. And this will declare a double type variable called length, and it's going to initialize it to 0. We're going to use type double for our variables instead of something like int, because that way our rectangles can have lengths and widths with decimal places. So next we'll declare the width variable. We'll have double width, and we'll also initialize it to 0. So we'll have here is equal to 0. And then we'll declare the area variable to store the rectangle area. So we'll have double area is equal to 0. Next we'll prompt the user to enter in the rectangle length. So we'll have here cout, and then length colon in a string. So this statement here uses the cout object and the stream insertion operator to output the text length colon to the terminal. That is going to prompt the user to enter in the rectangle length. Next we'll use cin to store the length that the user enters into the length variable. So we'll have here cin and then length. So here we're using the cin object and the stream extraction operator to store the length that the user enters into the length variable. Now we'll do the same thing with width. We'll prompt the user to enter in the rectangle width, and we'll store it into the width variable. So we'll have here cout, and then width colon, and then cin and width. Now we have the rectangle length and width from the user, and we're ready to calculate the rectangle area. So here we can have area is equal to length times width, because the area of a rectangle is length times width. So in this statement here, star is the multiplication operator, and we're going to multiply the value stored in the length variable by the value stored in the width variable. We call this an expression, and the expression is going to be evaluated when the program runs. The value that's produced by this expression is going to be stored into the area variable using what's called the assignment operator. Next we can output the rectangle area. So we'll have here cout, and then area colon, and then area, followed by an end line. So here we're using the cout object and the stream insertion operator multiple times to output the text area colon, followed by the value stored in the area variable, followed by an end line, which will output a new line character so that any further output from the program would start on the next line in the terminal. So this here is ready to be tested. So we can save, compile, and run the program, and I could enter in a rectangle length of 9.12345 and a width of 2.98765, and then if I hit enter, we get a rectangle area of 27.2577, which is correct. Now maybe I don't need this many decimal places of accuracy in my output. Maybe we'll need the area to 2 decimal places. There's a way we can do that. So if up here we include the iomanip library with #include and then iomanip, we can then use the stream manipulators fixed and set precision to modify the format of our area output. So down here, we could have cout area, and then we'll have semicolon. Then we'll have here cout with fixed, and then set precision 2. So in this statement here, we're going to output the text area colon like we did before. But now, before outputting the actual area value, we use these stream manipulators to modify the format of that output. Set precision 2, when combined with fixed, is going to output that number with 2 decimal digits of accuracy. So we can save, compile, and run our program, and I could enter in a rectangle length of 9.12345 and a width of 2.98765, and we'll get an area of 27.26. But this time, the area has been output with 2 decimal digits of accuracy. Now one more thing we could do is create a function to calculate the area of a rectangle. we could declare the function up here. So we could have double rectangle area and then double length and double width. And here we're going to have a function called rectangle area. The function is going to return a double value. That's going to be the area of the rectangle. And the function will accept two double arguments. We have a parameter double length for the length of the rectangle and double width for the width of the rectangle. We could copy this and then define the function down here. And it's going to be a pretty simple function definition. All the function is going to do is return length times width. So the function is going to multiply the length and width values that were supplied as arguments, and it's going to return the result of that multiplication operation. Then up here, we could call the rectangle area function. We could have here rectangle area, and we could supply it with length and width as arguments. So we could save, compile, and run the program. And again, for the rectangle length, I'll enter in 9.12345, and for width, I'll enter in 2.98765. And we get the exact same correct result as before, only now we're using this rectangle area function to calculate the rectangle area. So this is how we can calculate the area of a rectangle with user input values for length and width using C++.
Check out portfoliocourses.com, where we'll help you build a portfolio that will impress employers.